Alright, what is up YouTube? Today we're going to explore the 3 different types of diminished chords. So this is going to be kind of more of an advanced / intermediate lesson, so I'm going to assume you already know what the 3 diminished chords are, but now we're going to talk about the application. How do I use them functionally in a song? How do I know how to analyze and figure out which type of diminished chord is in whatever jazz standard I'm learning, etc. Alright, so we're going to start with the easy one first. This one, I always call it the Duwop diminished, or like the ink spots, because it reminds me of I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, basically, you know, the... So what we have here is F major, then we have the diminished I'm talking about, so this is F sharp diminished, the 2 chord, and then the 5. So you're going to find this often as it's like, yeah, it's going to be the 1, the sharp 1 diminished, the 2, and then the 5. So. We can do it up here too, right? Anyway, so where that diminished comes from, it's basically a substitute of doing a 6 chord, a dominant 7 version of the 6 chord. So what I mean is, if we're in the key of F, doing this F sharp diminished, it's basically like playing a D7. So listen to the similarities. So that, the Duwop diminished or the sharp 1 diminished, it always leads to the 2 chord, or you could also lead to the 4 chord because they have the same kind of function. But that's where you're going to encounter it most of the time. It's almost always just going to be right here, you know, right after the 1 chord. It just creates a nice little walking bass line effect while still getting that 6 chord dominant sound that will lead you into the 2 chord. So it's like a secondary dominant, effectively. This is another trick you can actually do. You can approach any chord you want a half step below with the diminished 7th chord, and it will give you the secondary dominant effect. So I'm literally going to choose a random chord, right? Let's start with this. And I'm going to pick this diminished. So it's actually a really good way to modulate to a new key. You can just pick any random chord you want to go to in a new key, and if you approach it a half step below with a diminished 7th chord, it'll lead into it nice and smoothly, and nobody will even know. Alright, so that's the first diminished chord, the sharp 1, the Duwop diminished. Second, we're going to go over the other easy one. I call this one the tonic diminished, I guess. That's a bad misnomer, because I don't want you to think it's on the actual one itself. It leads you to the 1 chord. So here, this is what it is. You can get it from doing a diminished chord a half step below the 1, so on the 7th degree, and you can get it from going to if you do it on the 2nd scale degree. So if you do a diminished 7th chord on the 2, you will get this. Minor 7 flat 5 there at the end. But yeah, so the way I like to think of this diminished chord is it functions really similar to using a minor subdominant in a major key, and blah blah blah, big words. It's basically like using the minor 4 chord in a major key. It has the flat 6 in it. So check out how this sounds similar. So it's like going from E major to A minor and back. Alright, so check this out. Now diminished. See this? Do you hear the similarity? You hear that? And then you also hear. You can do it on the 4th scale degree as well. Fun fact, So if you can resolve this to the 1 chord, that also means you can resolve it to the 6th chord because they have a similar function. So I can go. So that is basically the extent of that. The only tricky diminished chord, and I'm really glossing over it. There is a lot more to it, obviously. And I'm going to go over specific jazz standards in the next video, but I just want to show you the functionality of each of these chords first. All right, this one I call the auxiliary diminished chord. I call it the cheeky diminished chord because it just feels more mischievous, whereas the other ones sound more tense or nostalgic and bittersweet. But this one just has a little bit of mischief to it. And you'll hear this in a lot of jazz standards. I'm talking about the sharp 4 diminished and the flat 3 diminished. So that's like going from, if we're in the key of A, so we'll play A major, and we're going to do the flat 3 diminished. And this can lead us to the 2. That's a fun little trick. So on some of these diminished chords, you can use your pinky to go 2 frets above on, or two half steps above on the highest string of any diminished chord, and you get some nice movement and some nice extensions, like. That's a chord progression I made actually. But before I get too sidetracked, so we got our flat 3 diminished. Now the interesting thing about the flat 3 is it can actually lead us up or down. So it can lead to the 3 chord as well. So check this out. I'm going to use a real example for this one. This is, it could happen to you. So this one just walks up through the Duwop diminished first, and then it'll do the flat 3 diminished. So this is a really nice progression. Here comes the flat 3. We're not going to talk about that last chord just yet. It's a completely different subject. But yeah, so you can use the flat 3 to go to the 2, and you can use the flat 3 to go to the 3. Just depends on what direction you're looking to go in. You can also just kind of modulate between the sharp 4 diminished and the tonic. So check this out. Oh yeah, they do that in Let's Get Lost. So. So they use both the sharp 4 and the flat 3 diminished just for interest in this song, and it happens to lead to the 2 in this case. Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there for now because this could go on for a while, and I think I'm probably better off doing a part 2 video. So anyway, if you dig this content, let me know. Tell me your thoughts in the comments and where you like to use these chords. What's your favorite diminished type sound? And yeah, subscribe if you dig it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.